Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It's your guy Boulanger, and up next in this video, we are going to be taking an investigative journey into MVPs, including one Lamar Jackson. But before we get started, man, I want to thank you guys for those of you who came out and watched the Around the League segment. Um, it didn't do as well as I would have liked as far as viewership, but it's okay. I know it's something new. And if I'm honest, it was a segment that I'm learning how to do myself. It's easier to talk about the Baltimore Ravens kind of fluently because it kind of just comes as a flow simply because it's a team that I'm super familiar with. Um, Familiar with the players, familiar with the coaches, and so it kind of comes a little easier to talk about what's going on, that kind of thing. And so when it came to the Around the League segment, uh, you had to learn you had to learn the teams, look at their rosters, all those kind of things. So it took a lot more research, a lot more reading, that kind of thing. And so those videos will get better. Like I said, it won't be an overwhelming part of what we do here at the GM. We are a Baltimore Ravens channel, and we will stay that. But we will continue to do those Around the League segments. So I appreciate you guys for watching it. And if you hadn't checked it out, man, check it out. It's just kind of a snapshot view of who we thought were winners and losers of the NFL off season 2023. Um, and so back to this video, we're going to be taking an investigative journey into MVPs. And part of this idea came from I read an article that I'll also share with you guys in video sometime today. And by the way, this video is being recorded current April 2nd, 2023. Um, but the article read something like Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson, and it kind of was in the context of who should the New York Jets really be pursuing. And so when I began to think about it, we've already discussed what we believe was going on, and that is that there is a conversation in the league. It's a declaration that you do not go after another team's franchise quarterback. So no matter who's available and when they're available, the league has already established that you don't pursue that unless that team wants to move on from that quarterback. And so I really believe that's what's happening. I don't have any information to validate that, but it's the only kind of logical and reasonable thing that makes sense of why teams aren't knocking down the Baltimore Ravens door to get Lamar Jackson. We certainly have heard the scrutiny and the slander of, well, it's only a certain type of offense that he can run, and he runs out of the pistol versus the shotgun most of the time. He does RPO, and a lot of teams would have to change their offense and all those other kind of things. But here's the real truth. The real truth is a lot of guys run RPOs, right? Um, and a lot of quarterbacks make plays with their legs. So I think the narrative that he's just a running quarterback or an athletic quarterback, I think that certainly could have been true if he hadn't had his MVP season. I think that certainly could have been true. I think that certainly could be true if if we hadn't seen him uh, throw the ball with accuracy according to all the stats and metrics. Okay. And so I wanted to take this look because I've seen a lot of people discredit Lamar Jackson's MVP, not because he didn't win it, but because um that's an accomplishment that he has that other quarterbacks don't have, such as a Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and also Justin Herbert, and Trevor Lawrence. Those guys don't have that as of yet. Okay. And so people discredit Lamar Jackson's MVP to continue to put those guys over him. And I'm not here to compare Lamar Jackson to those guys, right? But I'm not going to type Lamar Jackson like the media and some other experts in the NFL have done. They've made him a type of quarterback, a running quarterback, a mobile quarterback. Oh, if you take his legs out of the game, then can he really do it from the pocket? Well, we don't know because we understand that the Greg Roman system is a system that allows for the quarterback to run a whole lot. See, case in point, Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco. And so we don't know what else he can do because they haven't allowed us to see it because his offense typed him. You see, and even the narrative that they built the offense around him is a false narrative. And so we're going to take a look and see what he did in his MVP season. We're also going to take a look at those other guys and see what they did in their MVP season. Not exactly with stats, but who you made magic with, meaning who were you playing along with? Who was helping you do that heavy lifting? See, because all MVP players will tell you that they didn't win it by themselves. You've seen MVPs credit the offensive line. You've seen MVPs credit their weaponry, and so I want to take a look and see what weapons he was really working with. You see, because we like to highlight when other people do things, but when Lamar has done it, we discredit him and make him a type of quarterback. And so you guys know I hate that. You guys know that I come against that, and so um, we're gonna see. So just give me a second. And we're also going to see what these other guys. We won't do it in this video. That'll be a separate video, but we're going to take and see what the other guys did it with as well. So let me see. Let me give me a second. Let me find where I put my where I put the video link. There it is right here. All right. And let me hit share my screen. Bam. So this is the headline for, and this is just to give it context. It says Ravens release updated excuse me, depth chart days before week one. And so the reason why I wanted to show you the headline is because that says that this is the roster and depth chart alignment that they were going into week one with, not preseason, not training camp, but week one, which means this is who they were rolling with. So let's roll down and take a look. Okay, let's keep rolling right here. So I want to show you guys something. Now when you look at this, um, see, this is the type of depth chart that you would think they're going into preseason with, or maybe training camp with, right? When you see Willie Snead as the number one receiver, when you have Chris Moore at the number two receiver, when you see Marquise Brown, who was the first round pick in 2019, when he's in that third position. Seth Roberts is the number two starting wide receiver. Jaleel Scott, which I'm probably pronouncing his name incorrectly, is a guy who was in that number two slot, and then you had Miles Borkins, who was also a rookie in that 2019 season. So when you look at these six receivers, right, this is who they went into battle with week one. Now let's do a little analysis. Willie Snead on any other team, specifically his previous team, I believe it was the New Orleans Saints, was the fourth or fifth best receiver on that roster. But he's the Baltimore Ravens' number one receiver. Chris Moore has only been really a special teams ace, but he's the backup to the number one receiver, Willie Snead. And Marquise Brown, now I'm not sure why he was slotted. I can't remember that far as the details, but I can't remember why he would be slotted in the number three slot. But what that would say is if they don't have him breaking into that number one starting role, that means his preseason performance, maybe it was injury, I can't remember, but he was slotted in the third position, which means he didn't walk into the season as the number one wideout, which says either underperformance or lack of demonstration of ability. When you drop down, Seth Roberts, a fourth or fifth receiver on every other roster, this is Lamar Jackson's second best receiver. Scott, who never even really got involved in the offense, and then Miles Borkins, who never really broke into any rotation, whether it was with the Ravens or then again with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is who he won the MVP with. This is who he threw 36 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions with. This is who he led the highest scoring offense with. This and I'm not discrediting these guys. You had to be good to make it to the league. Willie Snead, Seth Roberts, they etched out good careers for themselves. Chris Moore became a special teams ace, and that's what he's been known for in the league. Marquise Brown became 1,000-yard receiver his last year in Baltimore, but this is not what they were in his 2019 season. This is what he had to work with. But hold on, let's roll down because we understand that the Baltimore Ravens offense was, kind of tight end heavy at times. A surprise. Nick Boles was the number one tight end on the depth chart, not Mark Andrews or Hayden Hurst. And so we understand that Nick Boles is not a pass catcher. He's a blocker in the run game and in pass protection. Mark Andrews came into his second year as the number two tight end, Hayden Hurst number three. And so what that means is Lamar Jackson's biggest weapons were two tight ends who were inexperienced, and then his wide receivers were fourth stringers at best, third stringers maybe at their peak. And this is what he won the MVP with. So what does this say? Since people want to question his ability and that he's a type of quarterback and that he's only an athletic quarterback and all these kind of things, and that his playing style is only conducive to short-term winning. It doesn't produce long-term health in the league and all these kind of things. Well, what this would say to me is that in 2019, Lamar Jackson was walking into his second year. Let me say that again. His second year as a quarterback with only a half of year of experience. Did you hear what I said? He's walking into his second year, 2019, which was the MVP year, with only a half year experience. And when he won it unanimously, he was tied as the youngest MVP to win it unanimously in league history. Now, this is what this kid done in the league in year number 2 with these guys as his best weapons. So when people say, well, he can't really play the quarterback position, well, he had 36 passing touchdowns, which does not include rushing touchdowns. He only had 6 interceptions, which says you must be doing something right from the quarterback position. It must mean you're doing something right from the pocket. Because we understand that the Baltimore Ravens offense did not include a lot of bootlegs. So it had to be from the pocket, whether it was pistol or whether it was shotgun. And so the point that I'm making with this video is that when we do a real comparison, let's do a real comparison. You see, when you talk about value, yeah, this speaks to value. See, what would have been what it would have been screaming to me as a GM and a head coach? 2 things. We need to get this guy locked up because after the next year, which is when he won his first playoff game, he would have been eligible for a contract. What it also would have been screaming is let's get this guy some real help. That's what it would have been screaming. You see, and I'm not even talking about this to discredit the Baltimore Ravens at this point. I'm talking about this to highlight the shade that Lamar Jackson has been receiving because he doesn't have a new contract. See, I'm talking about this because of the slander Lamar Jackson has been receiving, where people have typed him as only being this or that. I just heard somebody run off at the mouth recently yesterday, kind of definitely was a TV commentator or whatever, and they would say, well, yeah, a team, they may be a little scared because they would have to change their whole offense and build it around Lamar. Well, who says that? Well, number one, stupid. Number one, stupid. Doesn't every team seek to build their offense around their quarterback's skill set? Don't they? And the truth is, we've only seen about 30%, 40% of what Lamar Jackson really can do because he's only been stuck in one type of offense. And that's the truth. He's only been stuck in a run heavy offense. We don't know what it looks like for Lamar Jackson to have a 50-50 offense, meaning 50% run, 50% pass, and then you lean on whatever side is dominating in that particular game. This offense Lamar Jackson has been in has been probably 60-70% run, and the rest was pass. And him being the leading rusher for his team basically the last 5 years. You see, so when you talk about injury, well, that's why a quarterback would get injured when they lead their offense in rushing. You see, so I need people to calm down. Number one, number two, I need people to just really see what's going on. You see, so when you want to measure a guy's talent, you can't discredit his MVP and uplift every other quarterback who wins it. You can't discredit his MVP year when you really take a look at that's what he was playing with. I had one guy, and I appreciate the comment in fact, say, well, a quarterback's supposed to lift up the wide receivers and make them better. Well, what was he supposed to make better? And obviously he made them better if he won the MVP with them. You follow what I'm saying? Obviously he made them better. But you give these guys right here, give these guys to Tom Brady and see what he would have done with them. Give these guys to Joe Burrow, see what he would have done with them. You know what? Let's give these guys to Patrick Mahomes. No, I'm talking about the exact same crew. Give the exact same crew of receivers to Patrick Mahomes and see what he would have done with them. Give these guys to Josh Allen, see what he would have done with them. Or any quarterback and see what they would have done with them. Give them to Jalen Hurts. See what he would have done with them. Guess what they would have had to do? They would have had to be the leading rusher too, if this was your wide receiving group. And every wide receiving group since his MVP season has been about the same talent base. What I mean by that is this. Okay, what I mean by that is this. Rashad Bateman, which he got 2 years ago, is the best wide receiver he's had as far as height, weight, speed, and ability potential, right? I think he's definitely is gonna if healthy, he'll definitely be better than Marquise Brown long term if healthy. Okay. But as they were drafting the Ravens, as they were drafting wide receivers, right? You're drafting on potential, not what's proven. So potential, they were better than this wide receiving group he won the MVP with. But based on what's proven, there's no evidence of that. So this 2019 group may have been the best wide receiving group that they had, other than 2018, which was only a half a year. So if this was the best wide receiving group he's had, and he won the MVP with that, then what could he do with just an above average group? So listen, guys, that's my take. Let me know what you guys want me to know. Like I said, we're going to go on an investigative journey. We're going to look at other MVPs and who they won the MVP with, so we can just create a real comparison. Because I don't like the slander. I am a Lamar Jackson fan. I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, and so I'll stand up for my guys, and I'll also be hard on my guys. So let me know what you guys want me to know. Hit like, hit subscribe, share it with a friend. I'm your guy Boulanger. This is the GM, and I'm out.